Oh, hello, hello. It's already Wednesday. Can you believe it? Seems these weeks go faster and faster. It's in Minnesota right now. It's a little chill in the air. There's some light rain going on. There's a call for snow this weekend. So we'll see if that happens. And it's always a time that we go into darkness, but it's when during this time that we can start to do some renewal, knowing that there's the promise of spring coming soon. And that's what 2022 is going to be all about. We've gone through 3 years of what can be referred to as winter. So Game of Thrones, if you watched Game of Thrones like I did, they always talked about winter is coming. Well, we are just exiting out of those 3 winter animals. And as we head into 2022, that is the first of 3 animals of spring. So we'll have a very different energy as we head into 2022. So hi, everyone. I'm Amy Theisen. I am a metaphysics coach and consultant, and I specialize in feng shui, in destiny analysis, and strategic date selection. And my favorite topic is what we are going to be discussing today, and that is the guardians. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And you guys can play along with me as soon as I get that figured out. It's been a heck of a day, heck of a week, actually. So I'm going to make it bigger for you so you can see. There we go. So if you have not generated your chart this week, we're actually going to be looking at a different chart, but you can always head over to amytheisen.com and you can find all those free resources on there for you. So today, we're going to be looking at a very different chart. So as I said, I'm Amy Theisen, metaphysics coach and consultant, and I help my clients design destiny, design their life destiny rather than let fate decide how they live their lives. I teach how to make the right choices to live a life of success, abundance, and ultimately joy. So if you find these live events helpful each week, please help me get the word out about this. Consider sharing it with your network, someone who you know would enjoy the topic that I'm discussing each week. Maybe there's one video that you liked better than the others. I'd love for you to comment on it and comment on these videos, this video this week. So let me know that you're there. So if you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, would love to hear. And I appreciate all of you that are commenting after the fact when you're watching in the replays. I appreciate it. These are rebroadcast on my YouTube channel. Simply search Amy Theisen. And if you enjoy these each week, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified each week. Okay, so let's get into this week's topic. So every week I've been telling you, go to my website and get your chart, print it out. Now, one thing about printing these charts out is they work best. The print function actually works best if you're using the Chrome browser. So if you're using Safari or Firefox or something else, you might not get the printing as clean as you might like. So try the Chrome browser. It should print out for you better there. It also you may need to log out and reactivate the page in order to get that print function. But this week, we're looking at a new chart. This one is, once you've logged in and gotten in here, you'll see access your Chi-Men chart. That's the chart we're going to need this week because we're going to be talking about the spiritual aspects of metaphysics. And like I said a little bit earlier, it is my favorite subject. It's my favorite piece of what I do. So Chi-Men Destiny Calendar is also built around your birth date and time. This one is important that you do know the time. You don't have to know it to the exact minute, but it would be good if you knew what hour you were born. Because it's looking at 2-hour chunks of time. So if you're not sure if you were born at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., it doesn't matter. Well, it kind of does in that case because the times are from 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9. Okay, so if you were born at 7:01, it would flip your chart. So go ahead and get your Chi-Men chart and get that calculated. And I will tell you that the print feature is not enabled on this chart yet. The programmer is working on getting that functional, but as of today, it was not yet functional. When it is, I will let you know. But if you reduce the size, so if you hit print, you can reduce the size, and I was having pretty good luck with 75%, and turn it to landscape. You will be able to get most of this in your chart. And what we're looking at is the top piece is your Bazi chart, something we've been looking at for the last several weeks. And then below, we have your Chimen Dunja chart. This is your Chimen chart, and that's what we're going to be focusing on this week. So your Chimen chart is also giving you aspects of who you are in your life. And the piece we're going to focus on is that guardian of destiny. So you will see this right here in the printout in your chart generator. And in this case, this individual's guardian of destiny is Harmony. So let me talk a little bit about what a guardian is. I always have had questions since I started talking about metaphysics and what I do is how does this fit into religion? And the fact of the matter is this has no religious connotations whatsoever. It does not matter what you believe at all. In fact, the way I like to describe the guardian piece is it's the piece of God source energy that resides within you. A lot of religions place spiritual divine intervention outside of you. But there is that spiritual component, that God spark in each one of us, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, it is there. You get to choose if you're going to activate it and grow it like a muscle, like strengthen that connection to that divine source energy within you. When we talk about the guardians, the secret is all about establishing a relationship with the guardian of destiny that you have. And then once you've got that relationship, working to direct their support in your favor and on your behalf at all times. So that's how I would explain a guardian. It has nothing to do with religion, but it has everything to do with spirituality. So let's start talking about Harmony. This is the first of the 10 guardians. They're not in any particular order. And I want you to know how they impact your life. So I'm starting with Harmony because that's the first one that was on our example today. So if your guardian happens to be Harmony, or your spouse's guardian, or your kids, or your boss, or your best friend, someone with a Harmony guardian is just a really nice person. The Harmony is the guardian of all things relationships. And you'll notice if you have Harmony as your guardian, that the people you meet, the people that influence you, the people that go against you are kind of your enemies. Every single one of them came into your life and were valuable in teaching you a lesson or taking you to the next level. So that's the Harmony guardian. Those that have Harmony as their guardian of destiny, they're usually very agreeable, easy to get along with. They like to meet and get to know people and build relationships. And just something about them has a nice calming influence on the people around them. So that's Harmony guardian. So now let's talk about Snake. This one's called Surging Snake. Now don't be thinking of the snake like the python or the rattlesnake or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about here. It's just a name. I tell my clients all the time, if you don't like the name of one of these guardians, name it something else that's dear to you. What I'm doing is just getting a vocabulary that we all know one common name for all of the guardians. So guardian snake is the guardian of all things related to the environment and changing people's minds. So individuals who have the snake as their guardian of destiny are usually very sharp and quick thinkers. They have very good intuitive abilities, and they have this sixth sense when it comes to properties. Okay, they can walk into a house and immediately know if it's good or not. It's like they walk in and go, ugh, I don't like this place, or they walk in and go, wow, this is a great place. So people with guardian of destiny snake make good realtors because they'll help you find a good house. Then we have the 9 heaven. The 9 heaven guardian, I like to think of Walt Disney when I think of the 9 heaven because it has the power to see something from start to finish. You know how sometimes you start a project, but you don't really know how it's going to end up, and you go from A, point B, to point C, to point D? Well, heaven, those that have heaven as their guardian of destiny are able to go to A to D and see every little step in between, so they know what it's going to look like from start to finish. It's like they can just visualize something like Walt Disney did when he built Walt Disney World. Those that have heaven as their guardian of destiny are very diligent in their work, but they can also be workaholics, and they have to be careful of that. They're also very trustworthy people. They're generous and charismatic, yet driven and ambitious because they have a lot of things that they want to do, and they don't ever seem to have enough time in the day to get them done. Then we have our 9 Earth Guardian. Now remember, this is your guardian of destiny. There's one that's most closely associated with you, and it gives you these character traits in your life. So the guardian of destiny in and of itself is a very compassionate, and the Earth Guardian is very compassionate. It's also often used when we need career direction. It's like the Mother Earth. It loves to care, and it's compassionate and all about the well-being of the people around them. So just like the snake guardian of destiny, these individuals have really good property intuition, different than the snake, because the snake walks into a house and is like, wow, this is great, or ew, this is not. Earth guardian individuals, they just have this ability to be drawn to a property, to look at a listing and know if it's going to be good or not, or it just seemingly falls in their lap. So they make really good realtors too, but really good property investors. Those that have Earth as their guardian of destiny are a little bit slower acting. They're really looking at long-term success and not necessarily short-term goals. So they will put instant gratification on the back burner in favor of that long-term overall success. Then we have the chief. The chief is just the chief. It doesn't have a name in front of it. This is the guardian of the guardians. This is the leader of all of them. If this is your guardian of destiny, you're someone who was born with a very strong moral compass. It's very difficult for you to do immoral things. You are very concerned about making sure everyone is taken care of to the detriment of yourself. And you might look back on your youth thinking, gosh, I must have had a guardian angel watching over me, because you maybe pushed the envelope on certain things and got into some trouble. But because you had the chief guardian as your guardian of destiny, you seemingly somehow got out of that trouble. Chief guardian of destiny individuals also are endowed with wonderful leadership ability. Now, if your guardian of destiny is the white tiger, we call this tiger for short. This is the guardian of energy and stamina. It is the one that we connect with when you know how. We connect with tiger to help us with health issues. Those with the tiger as their guardian of destiny can be stubborn, can be a bit aggressive. This is really good if you're an athlete or very competitive. There's some high-powered pro athletes that have tiger as their guardian of destiny, and it shows up on the court. Tiger guardian of destiny gives you a very strong work ethic, and those with this guardian tend to be very prolific in their work product. They create a lot of output. So if they were an artist, they would be painting a lot of paintings, a lot, quantity, quantity after quantity. The tiger guardian gives those individuals, they see failure as a way to do better next time and not simply something to bring themselves down. Now, Phoenix is our next guardian of destiny. This is the guardian of the spoken word. We do not want to have arguments with a phoenix. So someone who has a guardian destiny phoenix and you know it, don't even bother trying to win an argument, because they will always have the last word. It's better to keep things out of the argument realm with them. These individuals are very persuasive. They have this gift of communication, which can influence people. And it's really hard to hold someone with the guardian phoenix as their guardian of destiny. It's really hard to hold them accountable for their mistakes. They will be able to talk their way out of it, or talk you into believing that it was someone else's problem or issue. If your guardian of destiny is moon, we call it the great moon, but moon for short. This guardian is all about wisdom and knowledge and learning. If you think of the moon at night, think of the moon on a cloudy evening, how it likes to hide behind the clouds. This is a lot like the guardian moon as in your destiny palace. You Those that have moon as their guardian of destiny prefer to stay behind the scenes, somewhat hidden, somewhat, oh, beh quiet about their accomplishments and so forth. They're someone that knows a lot. They're happy just sitting at home reading a book, learning from a book in quiet reflection rather than out socializing all the time. Doesn't mean that they don't socialize or can't socialize. They're just very happy being quiet and by themselves. These people know a lot. They're like the walking Wikipedia. Um, and throughout their entire lives, they're going to crave learning. They will never stop learning. They love to know more and more and more. So that's our great moon, guardian of destiny. And if it's yours, you probably will stay with me from start to end of this broadcast because you want to know more. The next one is our next guardian is Hook. This is called the Grappling Hook. It's the hardest one to truly understand. It is a little bit mystical. We call it the guardian of ancestral connection and the guardian of healing. So former President Trump was a hook, guardian of destiny. And that's a lot why he was misunderstood. So those that have hook as their guardian of destiny just simply know things. It's not that they had to study or they had to work really hard. Somehow they just know things. And they do things very unexpectedly. A lot of times it's like you're watching over here and they do something here. They're someone who's able to make really tough decisions that others aren't usually comfortable making, and they're not afraid to make enemies when they do make those tough decisions. I would not like to see an argument between a phoenix and a hook, because the phoenix has that verbal skill, but the hook has the stubbornness and will not back down from a fight. That's why I use President Trump as an example. He didn't mind being attacked. He didn't mind a fight. He never backed down. That's one of the strengths of the hook, but it also can be a weakness of them. So I talk about ancestral connection, and that's where that intuitive just knowing something. It's like if you've ever watched Mulan and she had her guardian council, that's kind of like what hook is for those people that have hook as their guardian of destiny. Then we have the Black Tortoise. So the Black Tortoise, or tortoise for short, we call this one the guardian of influence and the feeling of energy. So those that have tortoise as their guardian of destiny, they're able to feel energy of others. They pick up on somebody who's happy or someone who's sad or upset. So they could be talking to a group of people and they're taking on the energy of who's next to them. So they need to be careful of taking on the negative energy, number one. But it makes them a very empathetic person. So they can, some of them may be empaths where they pick up on that energy and are able to be compassionate with the individual that they're chatting with. Those with tortoise as guardian of destiny are very intelligent. They're great at solving problems. They're also determined to get what they want. Again, stubborn. Think about the tortoise with the shell on their back. Tortoise oftentimes will go inside. They tend to be very good at stealth, getting information, conspiracy type things, stealth operations, covert operations would be another thing that the tortoise would be very good at. Okay, so those were the 10 guardians. And this again is where you find them in your destiny chart. And then I want to talk with you about how we can use the information I shared with you in these last 20 minutes. Now, understand that this is just the teeny tip of the iceberg of the guardians. But the next piece I want to talk about is this palace of destiny. This is how you work with your personal guardian of destiny. This is information that I'm sharing with you that has been really shrouded in secrecy, only coming to the surface in the last, 10 years or so. The texts are still in Chinese, and they are just being deciphered. Qimendunjia, you may be starting to hear more of. As they get deciphered into English, we start to learn how to use them. In fact, Sun Tzu Art of War is actually talking about Chi Men. So the way we use the guardians of Chi Men, which I just went through, is we sit with our back to the direction indicated in our chart. So in this case, the direction is northwest. So this person would sit with their back to the northwest. So that's why this diagram shows somebody sitting in their chair, the arrow out their back. So they're sitting up with their back to the northwest and they're facing the opposite direction, which of course would be southeast. So you sit with your back to the direction indicated, and we call this spiritual Wi-Fi. So if you saw the movie The Matrix, they plugged themselves in the back of the head into the Matrix machine. That's what we're doing with the spiritual Wi-Fi by putting our back to that direction. It plugs us in to that spiritual Wi-Fi. Now, every single month, every single month, I put up about an 18 to 20 minute meditation to activate the guardians each month. And you will sit with your back to the direction of your destiny palace, and you will connect in with your guardian using that meditation, and you activate them asking for what you want support for. And you will ask for things like courage and creativity, good ideas to find you, to be in the right place at the right time, to meet the right people, things that the spiritual divine level can bring to you while you physically take action on reaching your goals. So that's on YouTube. The one for the November just went up on Sunday. So you can use that. Test out connecting with your guardian, start to build that relationship with them. I will tell you the experiences of my own experiences and the experience of my clients have been actually absolutely phenomenal, would blow you out of the water, but I'm getting them to tell their own stories so that I don't have to share them. They're going to share them themselves. But using the guardians has been incredibly life-changing to not only me, but to a lot of individuals in my life who I've shared this information with. So do not take this lightly. I hope you take some time and meet your guardian of destiny by just connecting in and saying, hey, I'm here. What do you got for me? Whether or not you believe it or not, they are working on your behalf. When you found out your guardian of destiny today, you probably can think of times when you've had that influence of them in your life. There's also different levels of guardians in your chart. So maybe you thought, well, I kind of feel like I resonate with this one over here. It could be because they are expressing higher at a level in your life than your own guardian of destiny, but that's for another class. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of my live event. And the takeaways I want to leave you with is that we are all guided by divine influences, whether we know it or not, or believe it or not. Your divine guardian that I just shared with you gives you traits and characteristics and is working in your life. It also is able to connect in and give you exactly what you want. So you have to ask, though, in the realm of their specialty. And right now you have access to that free monthly meditation with your guardians. I hope you take advantage of it. And just know that I do teach an in-depth class to open up the world of guardians and your own intuitive abilities. And that will be coming later in 2022. So I hope you liked this live event. Be sure to like and follow my pages and share this broadcast with a friend and invite them to tune in next week. I appreciate you watching today or on the replay, and I will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Thanks, everybody. And reminder, if you have a question or you just want some insight in your own personal life, I'd love to hear from you. And I just might answer it. I probably will answer it next week. So feel free to submit your questions and I will answer them anonymously for you next week on this broadcast. And don't forget that the 2022 Water Tiger Summit is coming up on December 11th. My goodness, it's going to come up faster than you could ever imagine. We're already on November 10th. We are 1 month away from that summit. I hope you will join me. You can find all the registration information on my website, amytyson.com. And I appreciate you, and I will see you next week. Bye for now. Have a great week.